LJ?
Yeah?
I really want to see the new recap review. Where can I go?
Well, I'll tell you, little Johnny. If you head on over to vessel.com/the TTV channel, you'll find all of our content, recap reviews, mock spotlights, and more, on Vessel a week early. That's right, a full 7 days before we release it on YouTube. Not only that, but content from tons of other creators all across the internet. In order to access it, you need to sign up for early access, which is only $3 a month. It's a really great deal, and it helps us create better, higher quality content. It gets you guys in on the loop a whole week early.
Wow! I'm gonna go sign up right now!
You do that, little Johnny. You do that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync. Hey, it's John.
This is Ben.
This is Viper.
This is the XX Trooper.
And welcome to TTV Talks.
Oh boy.
Keeping the tradition.
We have an intro song on TTV Talks.
No, come on. If you're gonna sing the theme, sing the actual theme.
Lego Dragon. Lego Dragon. Lego Dragon.
Thanks for joining for TTV Karaoke.
Lego Dragon.
Listen, we don't even need to intro this, I don't think, because, man, Game of Thrones just ended this past week. We are the 4 people that watch Game of Thrones, minus Var, who kind of doesn't watch it anymore.
He
I don't
he
know
still
why.
kind of follows, I think. Maybe, he seems to be up to date with some of the stuff that's happened.
I do that. I did that for The Walking Dead. I was a guy, I really was, up to date with The Walking Dead. I loved The Walking Dead, and it was so slow, and I just lost it. I couldn't keep up with it anymore.
By the way, spoilers. If it's not obvious, there's gonna be spoilers here.
Spoilers.
There's gonna be very definite spoilers.
Rip you.
Yeah, do not
Ripperoni.
Do not rip-a-roan through this TTV Talk.
Dude, just turn around and don't listen to
Yeah,
this.
just anyone else, just come here, gather around. We're gonna talk.
Var picked possibly the worst season to stop following Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Because this season is the best season, I feel, of the show. I don't know about you guys,
Yeah,
but
this season,
I really enjoyed this season.
I'm kind of leaning towards that opinion, too, because it's I just recently caught up. I stopped watching Game of Thrones a while back. I started, not even last year, maybe 2 years ago. I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I stopped because I got turned off. It was they introduced Stannis and then the Red Lady and then all these other characters, and it got me lost. I got so freaking lost. And then eventually I kind of came around. I was like, there's a lot of Game of Thrones hype coming up right now, and I think now is a good time to give it another try. So I got caught up within maybe 3 weeks. I binge watched the entire series up until I think halfway through season 6, and ever since then I've been watching every new episode with my friends, and oh my gosh, this season's been a thrill ride.
After so you've done all the seasons, you've watched all of them. A lot of pacing has been kind of slow, kind of methodical. Some stuff you kind of want to see, and you're kind of waiting for it to get there. I remember being so excited when Arya left to go to Bravos at the end of season 4, and I was since season 2 or 3. Right, I know, right? I wanted her to become a faceless assassin, and I was really glad she did that. And so much stuff happened this season.
Yeah, it's the pacing of this season is it starts out okay, and then suddenly an episode kicks off, and then just so many things happen.
If I had to use one word to describe it all, it would be payoff. This entire season is payoff for about maybe 6 years worth, basically, of waiting on this show. Because that
the build
end
up
shot.
It's crazy.
That build-up is so incredible.
We've been
finally,
waiting for
when you're
that
at the end,
for the past 5 years.
Daenerys and freaking, Tyrion's there, and
then we got Varys.
The Greyjoys.
Varys is in the background.
Vengeance,
and the ships,
fire and blood.
They're finally crossing the narrow sea, and the dragons are flying across, and I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, the
for
Dornish.
6 years.
There's also Dornish boats there too, and we learned
the Dornish boats.
We learned that Varys is in connection with the Dornish. So
I'm okay. So the Lannisters are screwed, right? Cersei is only like has only so long before she's just done.
She's on borrowed time at this point.
Yeah,
She destroyed her
Isn't her
plot armor.
prophecy just about filled up?
Well, okay.
By now.
Yep.
Well, here's
Yeah,
the
it
deal.
is.
There is the show and the books are different. So they're almost telling different stories because some characters are alive in the books that are dead in the show, and some characters are dead in the books that are alive in the show.
Well, we don't know
that
yet.
Stannis. I believe Stannis is. Well,
He's
they
still
did
alive
cut away
in the books.
in the books. There are certain characters in the books, for instance, the mom Stark, Catelyn Stark, is still alive.
Oh,
but
yeah,
she's kind
Yeah,
of Lady
she's
Greyheart.
revived in
Lady
the books,
Stoneheart. Yeah.
She did get revived in the books, right? And it was that one priest who came back. What's his name? You saw him like in episode 8 or something with the Hound. Anyhow, basically
I don't know his name.
I
Can't
the
don't
remember.
prophecy for Cersei is, I know there's so many characters.
Yeah.
Prophecy for Cersei is different in the books and in the show. In the show, she definitely says that you will not marry, so you won't marry the prince, you'll marry the king, and then you won't have any children with him, but you will sire 3 kids, and they will all die.
Yeah.
But in the
And you will
books,
be
there's
killed,
an added thing
yeah.
where it says the Valanquar will choke you.
Yeah.
Like he'll put his hand around you and choke you to death.
Oh yeah,
Something like that.
His little brother or older brother.
The
something
little
like
Little
brother,
brother.
yeah.
And that's why she's always hated Tyrion. Oh, she's from the beginning. She always kind of hated Tyrion, but
She hates
she's always thought that
everything
Tyrion would be the
but
one to kill him.
kids, to be honest.
I think Jaime might kill her. I think he might become a
I'm pretty
queen
sure
killer.
Jaime will kill her. I think
What makes
there's
you
like
say
some
that?
form of poetic way of
Well,
sin-
because alright,
like,
so
you
the
know.
Valanquar means little brother. It's the High Valyrian for little brother, and she thinks it's going to be Tyrion, but she's the older twin.
Yeah.
Out of Jaime and Cersei,
her,
she's the
yeah.
older twin. And so it might be Jaime who's going to, because Jaime, the whole reason he killed the Mad King,
Yeah, like the
is
whole
because
thing
he was
makes
gonna-
sense because he tried
Right,
to prevent
the
something
wildfire.
from happening, and he
Right.
got so much crap for it. He comes back, and Cersei's done it instead.
Yeah.
and, by the way, man, that opening shot
That was such
of
a
that
good
last
scene.
episode.
There's been so much
They had
good
piano.
cinematography through this season.
This
Oh,
season,
dude.
especially
when-
like the last two episodes, the Battle of the Bastards,
Oh.
where Jon Snow is like, and that panning shot where they follow him throughout the battle, and all that stuff happening.
That was
It's
some
like
that
that-
was an
Private Ryan
amazing
type
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like that
episode.
scene from Saving Private Ryan when someone saves him, and he goes to talk to him, he just gets shot in the face.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
whole
Yes.
scene, I could just tell had such a high production value. It was just so much going on, and it was crazy.
Oh,
It
the
was
budget
really
on
cool.
this season.
Really well done.
Whew. The budget on this season
Yeah,
has
the
been
CGI dragons
incredible.
too during that
And
episode
man,
too.
listen, when he's being buried by the bodies,
Oh, that's horrible, that scene.
Oh,
I couldn't
that was a
like,
horrible
That scene is
scene.
I couldn't
rough.
breathe by how intense it was. It was just unbelievable.
I really thought Jon Snow was gonna die there.
That's what they want you to think.
I know.
well, I
They-
think the
they
reason
know-
why they're showing it
You know they've
is
done a
that the
good
Lord
job
of
when it
Light's
makes
on
you
his
feel that
side.
way.
Like Stannis completely fell in his battle, but Jon is being protected by the Lord of Light.
I think they're just gonna trying to show that war's not glorious.
Yeah,
That's also
true.
war is brutal. Like that scene, because they're all piled up. And you just get this like pile of dead bodies. But the thing is, they're not even dead.
And it just
They're
gets
still alive.
totally claustrophobic.
Yeah, they're still alive. There's
Oh,
like this
man.
one guy in the background, like his intestines are hanging out, and he's just screaming
Yeah.
for help.
It's
He's screaming,
it's-
"Help
it's
me!" Oh
Yeah.
man,
gruesome.
that was
Yeah,
brutal.
it sent like that cold feeling down my spine. It was like that is the image of war. It's nothing
I was
glorious.
really scared for Jon at the end of the Battle of the Bastards when he's beating up Ramsay and he stops to look at Sansa, and I'm like, no,
Oh, yeah,
I've seen the
I got
Mountain and the
scared
Viper.
too.
Yeah,
Jon, don't look away.
Don't do
I was
an
like, no.
O'Brien, please. Oberyn.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Oberyn.
yeah.
So, by the way, Dorne.
Stupid Oberyn. Oh my gosh. When I
Okay,
got to that episode,
really.
dude,
I knew that was gonna
so
happen.
mad. I was like, you had it. All you had to do was finish him, but no, you're like, oh,
Well, the Dorne people are
you
really,
killed her.
really, they're really
you
cocky.
wrecked her.
They really
Killed
are.
our
But like,
children.
Also, he was drunk. He always drinks before his battles. He even says to Tyrion, he drinks before he battles. So he was
then
thinking
that
straight.
like a
scene
fun guy.
when he's like, "I'm going to fight
Yeah.
for you," to Tyrion, is such a great scene. where he's like, I will be your champion. And like, Jaime would have fought for Tyrion too. I think that like, the thing of the Lannisters, they're a very messed up family, but they all have one thing that redeems them. They all have one thing that redeems them, and sometimes that redemption works out. Tyrion's, honestly, his main thing is that like, his redeeming thing is that he's been dealt the worst hand in life already. He's a dwarf, his entire family hates him, everything. And so he's able to, get away with that. Jaime legitimately cares for Tyrion.
Yeah.
And it's very well shown. And he's been redeemed himself, I feel, over the course of the show. I hated Jaime.
Yeah, that's
at season 1.
Dude, me too.
He's such a jerk. And I'm like, I can't imagine. And now I remember, like, at the end of season 6, I'm like, the servant girl, like, kind of gives him the eye. And when she's revealed to be Arya, I'm like, oh no, Jaime, get out of there. Jaime and Bronn.
I don't think Jaime's on the list, though, is he?
Jaime's not on the list.
Cersei is.
Cersei is.
Oh, Jaime's gonna do that for.
Someone said, like, who knows? Arya might kill Cersei with Jaime's face.
Or a dragon.
Oh wow, that's a good point. Actually,
that'd be interesting.
But no, that
would be interesting.
I was
right?
gonna say,
or like Tyrion's face, maybe even whatever.
I wouldn't say because Cersei doesn't trust Tyrion.
But dude,
it might
moment
be Jaime.
when Arya
there's
revealed
no
her
way
face,
he would be able to
oh
get
my
close
God.
enough to choke her.
Dude, my friends and I, we were all screaming. We couldn't stop screaming for like a good 5 minutes. I'm not even kidding. We could not stop. We were so hype.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing she's ever like done anything meaningful for the
I've
entire
never
series.
ever liked pork pie, and that didn't help.
Okay, so the pie thing. You guys know about the pie thing?
Yes, the Edward Scissorhand thing, yeah.
The rat cook?
Yeah, the rat cook story,
about the rat cook?
yeah.
Okay, the rat cook story, for the listeners who don't know everything about the books, the rat cook story, I guess they do tell it on the show, too.
Oh, no, it's not
it's
Edward Scissorhand, it's Sweeney Todd, sorry.
Yeah, it's Sweeney Todd, right? It's a legend told by in Westeros, and it's about like, I think someone at the Night's Watch, the king comes over and he slights the guy at the Night's Watch in some sort of way. So he invites the king over, but he kills the king's son and bakes him into a pie.
And serves it to him.
And serves it to him. And the gods are really mad and they turn him into a rat. And they basically curse him so he's only able to eat his offspring. And the reason why is not because he killed the king's son or anything, but he broke the right of guests in his house.
Yeah.
The right of guests is like is a sacred thing. You're not supposed to do anything to your guests if you invite them into your house or under your protection.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So
that's
Walder
great.
Frey invited everyone to his house and killed them.
That was quite.
And then Arya comes
and
she bakes his thing into pie to signify that you have broken the right of guests in your house. I am Arya Stark.
That was quite.
And Winterfell sends his regards.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was quite unnerving being back there. Like, you look at the floor, like where Rob died, and you're like, there was a dead person there, and that hurt when that person died. Oh.
Right. And all the three, Tywin Lannister, Roose Bolton, and Walder Frey all die the same way that they kill people at the Red Wedding. Tywin Lannister was shot through with a crossbow. Alright, Roose Bolton was stabbed by Ramsay in the gut several times. And Walder Frey gets his throat slit, just like Catelyn Stark got her throat
The
slit.
symbolism is real.
Yeah, no, the parallelism is amazing.
Yeah, right word. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that train, though. Speaking of trains, not really of trains, but like things coming through. This is earlier on in the season, but man, Hodor, right?
Oh, that
poor Hodor.
That
Hold
happened
the
this
door.
season?
Hold the door.
That
Yeah,
was
this season.
So much.
definitely George R. R. Martin. pulling the strings
the crazy
there.
thing about Game of Thrones is that it just threw time travel in there, and everyone was okay with it.
No
one felt that it dropped the shark.
Kind of did. There's
or
so many
jumped the shark.
theories concerning this one little thing about the show.
I mean, it is kind of crazy, like that Hodor, like Bran definitely influenced the past, and he also calls out to Ned, and Ned turns around as if he hears him, and that's a big deal. Fighting Arthur the Dane, the Sword of the Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
don't
an
know. That stuff's weird.
interesting-
Like,
Yeah.
I haven't really cared for much of like Bran's story. In fact, I hated him for like a good couple of seasons because it's like anytime the scene would change to him, it's like, I don't care about this kid. Just go back to Daenerys or something. Just show me something interesting. This kid's boring. I don't care about his weird like seizures and his broken legs and stuff. Like, get out of here. You're useless. But then like the whole Hodor thing happens, I'm like, okay, this is actually finally getting really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you guys know enough about the backstory with Robert's Rebellion as to? Did you guys get the reveal of Jon Snow?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
It's Rhaegar Targaryen's son.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
great.
Rhaegar Targaryens. There's like the whole that whole thing of Robert's Rebellion. I feel needs to be like it's wow Viper. Viper put an image that's just Raisin Bran, and it's like
Wow.
That's
Bran attached to his back. So Robert's Rebellion is
should
a
be on
portion,
the show.
all the stuff that happens before. It's just like, it's incredible how many things happen before the show.
Yeah.
But basically, like, what you do need to know is that there was a tournament way back when, and Rhaegar Targaryen, who was who's the son of the king, he won the tournament, and he gave he's the son of the Mad King.
Yeah.
He had a crown that you're supposed to give to basically the prettiest girl at the place, and he gives it to Lyanna Stark instead of his wife.
Yeah, which
Elia
is really
Martell.
awkward, right?
Right, it was kind of awkward.
Of the husband.
In front of Robert Baratheon, who's betrothed to Lyanna.
And everyone.
And so,
who's
and
at
everyone
the
is mad about it. Ned's mad about it. Eddard's,
That sounds like high
his
school.
older brother. Yeah, right? And so, Robert was a very generous man, but he was also kind of not happy about it either, because it was kind of a slight
he's
to
quite
everyone.
hot-tempered.
On their way back, Rhaegar kidnaps or possibly they've run away together. No one really knows why. But Rhaegar kidnaps Lyanna and takes her to the Tower of Joy, basically. Lyanna. Lyanna?
What the heck did you even say? Lyanna.
I said Lyanna.
Lyanna Stark.
I guess it could be Lyanna. Yeah, Lyanna. There's a lot of names in this. Anyhow, so, long story short, Robert gets really mad, and he goes and he kills everybody. To basically take the throne away, and that's how Robert Baratheon is the king.
It kickstarted the rebellion, but I mean, the Mad King.
Right.
Also, the Mad
killed
King
a lot
was
of their,
Mad King
right. And so,
Brandon Stark and Eddard's dad alive.
Right. Well, that was the whole thing. The Lannister armies came to the gates because Tywin Lannister had teamed up with Robert, and the Lannister armies were at the gates of King's Landing, and the Mad King was so mad he was going to burn them all.
He told Jaime
But
to burn
Jaime
them all.
Lannister, and Jaime Lannister decided to instead kill him instead. That's why he's the Kingslayer.
And Cersei did it instead.
Yeah.
Wait, Cersei did the whole wildfire thing instead. But there's also the part two where the Lannister armies come in and the mountain kills everyone in the castle and also presumably kills and rapes Elia Martell, which is why Oberyn, when he fights him, he's like, "Who ordered you to go and kill and rape, my sister?"
Yeah.
Right? And so that whole thing happens. Also, the last two kids, Rhaegar's younger siblings, are shipped out. They're sent across the narrow sea. That's Daenerys
and Daenerys.
and Viserys, right? And so that whole deal is like that. All of that happens. It's all tied together, and it's just incredible.
And because Daenerys was born out of wedlock because the Mad King died, she's stillborn, but she is a Targaryen.
Right. And also, I mean, so that's the whole thing. Lyanna and Rhaegar are there at the Tower of Joy, and she gives birth to him, and Ned's there, and she tells Ned, please don't tell Robert because he will kill him.
He will kill. Yeah,
He definitely would have. He would definitely killed him.
It's kind of a foreshadowing when obviously it was touched on in the show in season 1, but in the book, there's a lot more put into it. Like Rob was incredibly for killing Daenerys because she was pregnant at the time.
Right. Well, Robert Baratheon, not Robb Stark.
Yeah, Robert Baratheon, that's who I meant.
Right.
Edda was like, "Mate, that's not cool." And he was like, "It's
Right,
got a
so he can't kill a kid.
Targaryen. She must die." And it's like, regardless of, morality and stuff,
He
it
just
kind
wants,
of foreshadows
he just wants to
that
wipe
kind of
out the
perspective.
Targaryen name, basically.
He
he
just
does.
wants to wipe them
He's
out.
very.
Yeah.
He's one of those people, but he's one of those kings that's very, very proactive about, and in terms of killing. And
he's not a good king. He's a good warrior, though.
He is a good warrior. He is also a very honorable man. There's a point where he and Rhaegar's army, when they're fighting rebellion, they clash in the battlefield, and they have this huge battle, and he kills Rhaegar, and obviously, and then there's one other knight who was a great knight. I forget his name. But he's one of the greatest knights in Westeros. And after the battle, Robert fights him and beats him, and the knight asks him to kill him, and instead Robert sends his own doctor to
Is that
tend to him.
Barristan the Bold?
Sir Barristan, right? Who went
yeah.
and rescued
He's
the
still
Mad
alive
King.
in
Remember
the
him?
books.
Right, he's still alive in the books, and the reason why is because, and so like the Maester wrote that no king was as generous and open-handed as Robert, and Robert was still a very honorable man in combat and in as a warrior in general, and that's why so many people rallied behind him when he decided to take the throne from the Mad King.
Yeah.
Man,
But man, there's
if only
this-
there was a season
this
dedicated
show.
to all that. Because, like, I remember
really,
that
like-
that also caught me off guard when I was first getting into the show. It was like, there's a whole lot of backstory that everyone kept referring to. And it was like, am I supposed to know all this? Should I have, like, read a book before getting into the show? It was a little overwhelming. But
There's a book called like a World of Ice and Fire, and it's basically like an encyclopedia, a chronicle of everything.
Yeah.
And there's
that's cool.
there's several pages dedicated to Robert's Rebellion, and that's where I didn't read all of the books, but I got all that information from this guide, and it's
They're
really good.
probably
It's a
gonna
really
do prequel on this.
I really hope they do, because Game of Thrones is like such a cultural phenomenon at this point. But,
Wait.
you know,
Sort of backtrack though. Doesn't this make like in terms of Jon, like Daenerys is Jon's aunt?
Yeah.
yes, she's his aunt.
That's so
And
weird.
it's an interesting thing too,
That's so
because
weird.
they're kind of the same age, right? Also, I
Oh,
thought
shoot.
that they were going to do a huge thing. Like Jon Snow came back. He came back very quickly. I felt he came back in episode 2 of this season after dying in the
That
season
was
finale
free.
last year.
Wasn't
It was like season 3 or 4. Not season 3 or 4, episode 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I thought that they were going to do a thing because at the Night's Watch, they burn all the bodies after they've died. And I thought there would be a giant reveal there because Targaryens don't burn.
Oh, yeah.
And so I thought they were going to reveal that then, where they try to burn Jon and he won't burn, and then it's revealed, oh, he's a Targaryen after all. But I guess not. Maybe
Yeah,
there'll be a
missed
really cool thing.
opportunity.
One thing I really want to see happen is that, like, you know, if Jon and Daenerys have to fight each other, Daenerys will fly on the dragon, and the dragon will like roar fire. It will land right in front of Jon, and they'll like, you know, it'll blast fire at him, and Jon will be unharmed, and then she'll be like, "Oh,
Well, it would
it's
also be
real
quite
now."
awkward because he'd be naked as well.
Well, I mean, you know, Daenerys was
Be
naked
like,
several times, and everyone was like,
Well,
"Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it was still awkward when she walked out there. She was like, "Hi, I'm naked."
yeah."
I
He's
don't
like,
mind
"Hey."
But at that point, she was used
And
to
then
it.
everybody
She
was like,
"Hi."
"Whoa," and they all knelt.
Don't really have
It's like,
fireproof
whoa,
clothes.
It's
so.
Amelia Clark. No,
No, it's Daenerys, aka Baenerys.
Hey, I get it.
Hey.
Hey.
No, speaking of fire, Davos found out about Shireen.
Oh,
he did.
yeah.
Oh man.
I
That
completely
was
forgot
sad.
he didn't know. I was like, wait, you don't know this? Oh yeah, you don't. Oh no.
Yeah, 'cause he was
Oh,
gone.
man. That was such good acting too, where he was like
Oh,
confronting
Davos is
the
like
Red
one of my
Lady.
favorite characters. He just he feels
Melisandre.
the most real out of all of them. Like I could relate
Yeah,
to
like
him a
all right,
lot.
Davos. Here's what I want. I want Davos to be an advisor to Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Lyanna
The little,
Mormont.
the young, like
Lyanna
the
Mormont's
ruler,
pretty cool.
who, by the way,
Is-
has more balls than anyone in the North.
Anyone
Yeah,
really.
character in the game.
Any other character
Game?
really in this game. She should be on the Iron Throne. Really,
She was
like
straight up
born to
roasting
rule.
people. In
Yeah.
that
Yeah, she
last
was like,
episode.
all right, hey, you didn't answer the call. Where were you? We had 62 men. We gave them anyways because we were sworn to the Starks.
Yeah,
Don't be cowards.
I love all the Mormonts. Like I've seen, like I know that there's her mum, which unfortunately she died in the show. I'm not sure if she died in the book or
Right.
not.
No, she didn't. I don't think she died in the books. I only think Lyanna is a character in the books. I don't believe. I'm not sure. She might be mentioned in the books.
Yeah.
But not like in the capacity
I
that
believe
is
she
right
might
now.
have been mentioned.
See, I like Jor. I liked Jor before he died, and then I also like Jorah, even though he
Right,
is a very complex and destroyed, broken character, and is a
They're
bit
all
I love
creepy
that.
in the
broken,
books.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Like you can see that scene where Daenerys tells her assassin boyfriend, what's his name?
Dario.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Dario. And she tells him, all right, you have to stay here. You can see him realizing, oh no, this is what I'm basically turning into Jorah now. That's who I'm becoming. And he's like, the dwarf did put you up to this, didn't he? He's like, I can't argue with his logic. Man.
Yeah, that was hilarious. He was just like, "Don't leave me." And she's like, "Bye."
Oh, and okay, when Daenerys makes Tyrion the hand of the queen. That's
Oh,
such
that
a
was
great
yeah.
moment.
It was like watching
so
your
because-
kid walk across the stage graduating.
It really is, and it's well, I felt that for me. That's Arya killing Walder Frey.
Oh,
Arya,
well,
I've
yeah,
seen she was
then
a
there's
tiny
that.
kid, and she was like, oh, she has like a little needle, and now she's like the master assassin.
Yeah, I miss those good old days of Tyrion sorting out King's Landing with the hand of the
and
king.
like telling all the three people like different things,
Yeah,
and like
and they
kind
found out
of. He's
it
a
was
very good
Pycelle,
hand and a
Rip
very good advisor,
Pycelle.
but. He really earned, like, the thing with Daenerys is that Daenerys has no reason to keep him alive. The reason she makes him the hand of the king is because she realizes his worth.
He's
and sees
very
that he deserves
useful.
it. Which is, I'm like, Tyrion has been overlooked for so long in this show.
To see him
He's
be
like,
appreciated
he's
is
just been-
very
To see him
satisfying.
be appreciated and recognized and be like,
Yeah.
I want to have a dialogue between him and Cersei when Daenerys finally arrives at King's Landing to take that throne.
Oh man, yes.
That'd be so
Dude,
great. It's probably
that-
not going
you're
to
just-
happen, though.
Speaking of Tyrion, I freaking, what was it, season 4? Or the end of season 4? When he kills his dad?
Oh, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
That was
that's
great.
That's such a great scene. And also when he's to strangle Shay as well. But
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
whole deal. There's a whole big deal that in the books that really gets to the heart of his character that they just didn't have time to put in the show. When Tyrion was really young, he fell in love with this girl.
Yes, I did hear
And
about
Yeah.
he
this.
fell in
that
love with this
story
girl.
is horrible.
Right. And so the girl is there, and so they get secretly married, and then it's revealed that the girl was a prostitute the entire time, and so she, she's sent away. I don't know if she's executed or if like something happens with her. Where Tywin just completely dismantles it and everything.
Something really
Right.
awful happens to her.
Something
Right.
awful happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible happens. I think something like awful happens to her. She's tortured or
Yeah,
something
she's
happens.
tortured.
Not
Right?
really. There's a different kind of
sorry.
torture.
Everyone else like kind of basically rapes her. I think
Oh,
that's
we're
what
gonna
happens.
mention
Everyone
now.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
Right,
in
yeah,
the King's
okay,
Guard
yeah.
rapes her in front of Tyrion.
Right.
Oh jeez.
In front of Tyrion.
Yeah, Tywin makes him watch.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
Tywin makes him watch. He was like, "You should not." This common boy's like, "How can you be so stupid to fall in love with a prostitute?" When Jaime lets Tyrion out, Jaime tells Tyrion, he says, "Hey, by the way, that girl was never actually a prostitute. Father just made her like he basically made everyone do it on that pretense.
Technically,
she actually just a
everyone's
normal
a hot
person.
prostitute to Tywin.
I mean, sure, but he's like she actually pretty much loved you, and
Yeah,
that
was
just took it
really
away."
sad. Like,
And Tyrion was, and that sets up, even though I understand they didn't have time to show that in the show, that makes Tyrion's thing of killing his dad that much more meaningful. Because at that moment, that hatred, and also he goes to his dad's room and he sees Shay in there, and he's like, "That's it. I am
am
had
done. Yeah.
it. I'm so done."
Yeah, like I obviously I listened to the audiobook recently, and when he's telling Bronn that story, like there's a really sad side to like you can hear him getting like choked up when you're like listening or reading the book, and you're like, oh, that's
Oh, man.
horrible.
And on top of that, why is Tywin so mad at Tyrion? Because
Because he resents him
Tywin-
for killing his wife.
Because his wife is, the Lannisters always have this thing where they have one thing that redeems them, one thing they actually love. Tywin loved his wife. In the book, The World of Ice and Fire, the Maester who's writing it down says, "I've seen, his wife made him laugh on not one, but 3 separate occasions." And he's like, "This is incredible."
And that's saying
I believe
something,
that,
yep.
yeah, he says she is the only person that knows the person behind a mask, and I believe she's the only person he truly loves and adores. And
Right.
Tyrion kills her when he is born. And they had that conversation when Tywin's like, "When you were born, I wanted to throw you out into the sea, but you are a Lannister, so I let you survive." And that's such like, all these character motivations coming together. It's what really makes this show beyond, beyond just a normal thing, beyond just like an average fantasy show.
And that's thanks to George R.R. Martin for writing such actually quite human characters with quite understandable motives.
It's like the
when
modern
you
day
see
J.R.
these
Tolkien.
people.
He even has the RR.
Right. I think, honestly, as a lifelong Lord of the Rings fan, I like Game of Thrones more than I like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, same.
Oh
Way
boy.
more.
It's got
Because-
more of a grey area to
Ooh,
it.
here we go.
Because
Well, the whole
here's
can
the
of
thing.
worms.
whole theme of this.
The characters, in Lord of the Rings, a lot of it is written like a history book because J.R. Tolkien wrote his entire world out. He had a very strong history for his world. It was a much realer world than any had been imagined up to this point. And George R. R. Martin took that, but he made the characters more human because they're also gray. All these characters, Jamie, for example, is one of the best.
Series is basically.
Right. It's that people are terrible people, but they can kind of be redeemed, and they also have terrible things that they do. Jamie is possibly the most redeemable character I've ever seen in any form of media, where I hate him. I absolutely loathe him at the beginning. And now he's one of my favorite characters here at the end in season 6.
Yeah, that scene when, like, he's with Brienne, like, in the bath.
Brienne.
Yeah, that was, like, incredibly, like, eye-opening for nearly every fan. Like, there's this side to Jamie that's, like, been hidden away because of Cersei. Like, Cersei has such a massive influence on him. And whenever she's not around, you see, like, this more moral Jamie.
Right. He becomes, he cares for, he's the only one that really cares for his siblings. Like, he legitimately cares for Cersei, and he legitimately cares for Tyrion. And Tyrion has already said to Cersei, he's like, a time will come where you will think you'll be happy, and your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth.
Yeah.
I would really,
man.
I'd love to talk about that,
we should wrap this up.
But I just
real
want to
quick,
mention
Season
that
7 hype. That's all I'm going to say as my final...
Sansa beat
Go on, Max.
Littlefinger in his own game.
Oh, yeah. Sansa did
dude,
really.
Littlefinger, dude.
And he regret that decision.
That guy's a creep.
He's really
weird.
He just revealed himself, which is something that he's never done. He's never revealed his true intentions to anyone ever, and he did it this time, and he failed.
Yeah, that was funny.
Because, he's been obsessed with Caitlyn for forever, and now Sansa comes on, she kind of looks exactly like Caitlyn, and he's like, hey,
at least
you're even more
eyes.
hot than your mom was.
Doing?
Which is like, okay, that's a little weird, it's a lot.
I kind of got that, like, especially if you do, like, I'm gonna say this over and over, especially if you do read the book, because it describes how, and, like, how they are looking at someone, or how they're acting. Like, there's a part where you read Sansa's chapter, and it's like, Peter is, like, looking at her as if she was naked, like, that, it's like a perverse look. And it's like, whoa, okay. She's like 13 in this book.
Peter did also, like, he wanted to fight Ned, when Caitlyn was betrothed to Ned. Peter wanted to fight Ned in a duel, and they were able to keep him alive for his honor, because he would have definitely lost to Ned. Ned was a great warrior, and Peter was like 13, I think, at the time. But he kind of, he lost this girl very early on. She's so creepy now, beyond everything. But flip side, Sansa also kind of like, she's kind of, a little flaky, I guess. There's that scene where before the Battle of the Bastards, where she's talking to Jon, and she's like, I would have told you, she's like, oh, we don't have a large enough army. And Jon's like, we don't have anybody else. And he doesn't. And Sansa's like kind of mad at him because he doesn't ask her opinion. But she also has the Knights of the Vale, like, on her watch, and she just said no just because Littlefinger kind of creeped her out. Which is like, alright, I understand he creeps you out, but
well, and also,
you kind of need an army here.
Yeah.
You kind of need an army here.
Well,
it's like, I felt like Sansa was like really mad at Jon. It's like, no, you are the person that's hiding something.
Well, no,
Jon calls her out and he's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, don't do the obvious. He's like, well, thanks for your advice.
Well, I think it's partly also because I don't think she trusted Jon with using the army in the correct way. Like, you see, like, expect the unexpected. Ramsay did not expect an army to suddenly appear over the horizon when all of his army are in a very vulnerable position on the outside.
Which I believe would have been a great move by Sansa had she planned it from the beginning. But she told Littlefinger no because she just found him creepy. And then when she knows, she doesn't say anything, because even though she knows he needs a larger army, she complains about there not being a larger army, even though she could get a larger army, she just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really got me, is that she was kind of like mad at Jon. He was like, no, you should be the one giving up your own comfort
for the greater good.
She didn't sacrifice enough. And she's mad at Jon because they don't have a larger army. Where are you supposed to get any of the added men? They went to all the houses. They have all the men they have.
Well, I mean, I'd like to say that she was in fear of being captured and she wasn't thinking straight. Like, I mean, she even said, I'm not coming back to you alive. Essentially, like, she would end her own life instead of going back to Ramsay. Like, she was terrified, and you could see that. and obviously she ran away during the conversation when they were speaking to one another. Also, freaking Rickon! What? Don't run in a straight line! Don't do Prometheus on us!
Could he freaking zigzag, maybe? Like, like, Rickon couldn't just, like, kind of run back and forth. I thought what would be amazing is if after his ropes are cut, if Rickon and Ramsey's like, alright, go run. And if he ran and grabbed the knife from Ramsey and just, like, stabbed him, I'd been like, oh, that's a way for Rickon to go out.
Well, we know how that ended with another
way to be there,
person,
kid.
though.
Rickon's entire purpose through
Was to
6
die?
seasons was to die.
He was like the least important Stark.
Yeah, he was.
He's the least important Stark.
He was the
It's
least
funny
important.
because when I got to an episode where they're like, "Oh yeah, they have Rickon," I was like, "Who the heck is?" I texted my friend. I was like, "Who the heck is Rickon Stark?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember this chump at all. But anyway,
Did he even have any voice lines after he got captured? I don't think he said anything.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or say much at all.
Nah, he's well, we're left on a low point, I guess. Or
Well, I mean, okay, I'm trying to think of anything else. Sansa smiling as she's walking away from Ramsey is a great arc for that character going through from when she was at season 1. Again, it's crazy how, like, these characters change from season 1. But, like, how she's kind of, like, whiny. All she wants is Joffrey, to marry Joffrey. And then now she's, like, she's been broken and then she's been reassembled. And now
did
she's
you say
darker than ever.
Joffrey marrying Joffrey? I think you did.
Well, no, I probably, like, interrupted myself in the sentence. Probably.
All right.
But Sansa really wants to marry Joffrey at the beginning. She's kind of like a whiny little, twerp. And Arya is still kind of a feisty little twerp, but she's so little she can't do anything that matters. And now they're like, the Starks are like, they're at the point. I really want the Starks to really reunite. Like, it was great seeing Jon and Sansa finally come together. I really want to see Arya come.
Do you really think,
Yeah.
after all this time, Kahi, this series is going to have a happy ending?
Absolutely
I think they're all
not.
going to die in
It's
the end.
Game of Thrones.
No seasons had a happy ending. But
I mean, if you really like
Anywho.
Cersei, this was a happy ending.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if you like Daenerys, you're like, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
there we
finally.
now,
Okay.
yeah.
Real quick before we wrap up. Yeah, let's wrap up. What do you want to see from season 7? What are your predictions for season 7?
I predict Cersei's probably gonna die. I don't know by who, but I have a feeling it's just gonna happen. I have a feeling that I don't know.
People will
All that
die.
build up.
Blood will be shed. Cersei will be a scary queen, and Daenerys will also be a scary queen, but a much nicer queen though.
There was a theory that I remember hearing about it was on the tip of my tongue, but I don't really remember. But I was pretty subscribed to it. That it was basically predicting like what could happen in season 7. But yeah, oh well.
Yeah, I was.
Right.
I assumed that like either Jon's gonna go up to the north and it'll be like a whole kind of north versus the south again, like what Rob Stark, or Daenerys gonna take Castle Rock. Then they're gonna meet up there and take King's Landing together. Or something completely different could happen.
Daenerys is probably going to take the south, and then there's going to be a conflict between her and Jon.
I think that's really what it's going to. I think the Lannisters are basically going to be swallowed up at this point.
Yeah.
It's going to be the north versus the south, the songs of ice and fire. I'm looking forward to Clegane Bowl. I've been looking forward to Clegane Bowl for the longest time. There has to be one reason the Hound's alive, and that's he has to fight the Mountain.
Hound's my favorite character in the entire series. I was glad to see him back.
There's so many favorite characters for me. I love Bronn. Love Arya.
Bronn's
I don't
awesome.
really like anyone. They just all die. So I've only liked one character, and that was the Hound.
Yeah,
I really want.
I have a very similar like philosophy subscription as the Hound. So
Daenerys.
Just
that's all I'm going to say.
screw
Just
everything.
Daenerys.
I'm leaving,
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I want Cersei. I want Arya to kill Cersei. I think that like she needs to cross another person off her list.
That'd be
Other
great.
than that, that's just that's all it is. That's everything. Game of Thrones, fantastic show. You guys should all watch it.
Actually,
and you should
no,
also
not
watch
all of
our
you should
show
watch it
1
because
week
it's quite
early
inappropriate.
on vessel.com/the TTV channel.
Smooth.
Yeah, there we go. It is $2.99 a month for early access. It is $19.99 for a year, and you should totally do it. It helps us out, helps the show out, helps the channel out, helps us do all this stuff and talk about things like Game of Thrones and primarily Lego, but we could also talk about Game of Thrones at another point in time. But there you go. Man, that's possibly the greatest show on TV, I think, right now. I'm pretty amazed by it. Anyhow, I'm John.
I'm Ven.
What, Viper?
She's Viper.
She's Viper. I'm the XX
She's
Trooper.
Fluffy.
Woo!
Yeah, that was
I like Game
that
of
was
Thrones.
TTV Talks.
But yeah.
All right, poor her. She's. I think Discord's giving her some error. But
Oh,
yeah, there
wow.
we go. That was TTV Talks.
I'm back.
See you guys next time.
What's your favorite character?
Leanna.
Ah.
Normal.
Liana,
No, just
Davos,
in the comments.
Mormon.
Like,
I mean, as
the
in
people.
Jorah.
Oh,
We want to
yeah.
know what they.
Put your favorite character in the comments. Put who you think should be on the Iron Throne at the end.
I just want to know.
Oh, okay, man.
I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Sure, you be like that. Oh, I forgot to talk about the music. The music's so good. See ya.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.